My property tax alone just went up a ridiculous amount. And what is property tax in the first place? If you bought it and it's yours, why does the government feel that they have the right to tax your right to keep it? Okay, it makes no sense to me. But in today's Meat on the Bone segment, we're going to talk about another tax. Okay, the silent tax that nobody really plans for in retirement planning, but they need to start. And of course, we're talking about inflation. Okay, in the years between 1991 and 2020, that's 30 years for those of you mathematicians out there, the average rate of inflation in the United States was a mere 2.2%. Okay, and those low inflation rates meant that the lifestyle a retiree could afford was greater. But as inflation rises, obviously they're going to run the risk of their savings falling faster over time. In fact, in the modest decline in purchasing power experienced by recent retirees during those 30 years, okay, that was the lowest decline in the last 100 years. Well, in 2021 and in 2022, we've seen up to a 7% increase in inflation because we hit over 9% at the CPI earlier this year. And that marked the return of a significant risk of a rapid decline in the cost of maintaining your retirement lifestyle. And the bottom line is none of us knows when we retire how much of a lifestyle our money is going to buy us in 5 or 10 or 20 years in the future. And while Social Security increases with the cost and the rising rate, I should say, of inflation in order to maintain and help maintain the purchasing power over time, for most Americans, the income benefit that they receive will not cover the majority of their retirement expenses. Okay, and so what does that do? Well, that exposes retirees to a risk that is just as significant as the risk of losing money from their investments. Inflation risk is particularly important when using less volatile investments. Like say you have your money in a savings account or a CD or a bond, and you're using those funds to pay for basic expenses like food, like utilities, like property taxes, insurance, or healthcare. And the reason it's more important is because those types of safe investments are the most vulnerable to losing purchasing power over time. Okay. And not only does a retiree not know what the rate of inflation will be in the future, they also don't know how long their savings are going to need to last, right? This risk is particularly important when building that base to support your essential lifestyle expenses. Nobody wants to see their savings start to evaporate when they hit their 85th birthday. And here's the thing, statistically, a healthy 65-year-old woman has a 50% chance of living beyond age 90, a 25% chance of living to age 95, and get this, a nearly 10% chance of reaching age 100. So if she spends down her savings at a rate that would run out at age 90, she's going to face a 50% chance of either having to significantly cut back her spending in her 80s or risk completely depleting her savings. Okay. And fortunately, a retiree is able to transfer that risk to an institution that provides a lifetime income guarantee. By buying an annuity through an insurance company, retirees can pool that longevity risk both to increase their annual spending and reduce the risk of running out of savings. And that, to me, Matt, sounds like a much better plan.